Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. In today's video, we are doing the April predictions. And April is a month of fresh starts, new beginnings. It's really a game-changing month, which I say about a lot of months, but this one is definitely one for the books. So we're going to get into what that means for you and your zodiac sign. And if you guys are new here and don't know already, my name is Kitana. I do the monthly predictions for each zodiac sign every month. So to stay up to date with those predictions, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next video. And with that being said, I do have an announcement to make, and that is that I officially launched a new, I'm like out of breath. I officially launched a new collection with my jewelry line called K Jewelry XO. It's called the Mystified Collection. If you guys are following me on Instagram, you heard about it already. But I'm wearing some of the pieces right now, as you guys can see. We have like snakes and stars and hearts and stuff. It's really cute. So head to kjewelryxo.com to shop that collection. I'll link it down below. We're also doing a giveaway. So if you want to win some of these pieces, go to Instagram and head to the official K Jewelry XO account. It's just called K Jewelry XO. And you guys can enter that giveaway there. And I'm really excited about it. So you can check it out down below with the links in the description box. And with that out of the way, let's get into the events in April and break down the major events to look out for and put in your calendar because you don't want to miss these ones. And then we'll get into the zodiac signs after that. So the first event to look out for is Mercury. So Mercury will be going into Aries why am I like out of breath today? Mercury goes into Aries on April 4th. Right now, Mercury is in Pisces, so it is debilitated, but it goes into Aries, which is like a breath of fresh air on the 4th. And Mercury in Aries poses the sense of courage, a sense of boldness with our speaking, with our speech, how we communicate with each other. We can feel more blunt, more sassy, which can get a little bit argumentative, but it does give us that courage to speak our mind and be really clear with our speech. I feel like right now with Mercury in Pisces, it's almost like a second retrograde. It's so groggy and foggy, but luckily that ends on the 4th of April in just a few weeks. And also Mercury in Aries is excellent for entrepreneurs. It's excellent for businesses, if you're in a media career even, because it gives you that courage to start new projects, start new business contacts if you want more people in your network. It gives you that courage to start new media projects, speak clearly, post what you want, be bold about it, with Mercury being in Aries for most of April. That brings us to the next event, which is the, hold on, I have to get some tea. That brings us to the next event, which is the new moon. So the new moon is on April 11th. It's in the sign of Aries. And this new moon is so exciting. It's a new moon that is very auspicious. It's very fortunate. It's very well aspected. It's aspecting Jupiter in a positive way, Venus in a positive way, and we don't get that kind of energy often. So this is a really great new moon to manifest. And I also like to get into the in-depth breakdown of the new moons and the full moons on Patreon, so you guys can check that out. And I get into it about what it means for your zodiac sign on Patreon as well. But in general, this new moon on April 11th is auspicious for manifesting and setting a new beginning. It's great also for this sense of rejuvenation. It's great for finance as well. It's great for crypto, the stock market, which I'll get into later in the video, also on Patreon too. But this new moon is a baddie for sure. And that brings us into the next event, which is the full moon. So the full moon happens in the sign of Scorpio on the 26th of April. Now this full moon is a lot more, I would say, intense. It is more dark and ominous, which is very Scorpionic. But that energy is almost amplified because this full moon is also squaring Pluto. So this full moon energy, it's very intense in the sense that it really forces us to contemplate our darker side, our shadow self. Something really strong with this full moon is secrets being revealed. Full moons tend to be this time of illuminations, things being brought to light. So that really goes hand in hand with the Sun conjunct Uranus aspect, which I'll talk about in a second. But this full moon, it has that tendency to have some sort of deep, dark truth be pulled out of the darkness, and something that might shock us as well. So something shocking might happen on a global scale, a reveal of some sort, a reveal of something taboo or dark or ominous, very Scorpionic, Plutonic themes here. And this full moon's also great for just rebirth, transformation, regeneration. That's really the whole theme in April, with it being Aries season. It's the start of a new zodiac. It's the start of a new really cycle within our lives as a collective. And this full moon in Scorpio really causes us to kind of burn down the house, so to speak, or burn down all of those toxic thoughts, toxic energies, take those toxic people out of our lives, and really purge out everything we don't want in our lives in order to accept all these new blessings that's coming in with Jupiter going into Pisces this summer, which I'll do a video about. It's a very exciting transit with Jupiter moving into Pisces. And the last thing I will talk about in terms of major events is Sun conjunct Uranus. So as most of you guys know, Uranus is in Taurus right now. It's been in Taurus. It's going to stay there for decades. It's a slow-moving planet. And the Sun will actually meet Taurus or meet Uranus in Taurus at 10 degrees on the 31st. However, we're going to feel that Sun conjunct Uranus energy starting on the 22nd. And basically the whole last week of April, we feel Sun conjunct Uranus, which is nothing to play with. Considering Uranus energy, it's bold, it's brash, it's really relevant to that theme of upheavals, shocking news, anything shocking, anything groundbreaking, that's Uranus. And Uranus events and activities tend to happen in a very unpredictable way. But with Sun being conjunct Uranus and Taurus, this unpredictable event can have to do with money, the stock market, the beauty industry. So the stock market, Bitcoin, that's something really to look out for in April, which I'll be doing more Patreon posts about and getting in depth about Bitcoin and the stock market and how to take advantage of these transits. But one to look out for is definitely Sun conjunct Uranus. It's going to be in Taurus. And another key detail about Sun conjunct Uranus is rebellion, rebelliousness. You can't have Uranus energy or even Aquarius energy without this sense of rebellion. And last year around this time, we know the protests did happen. And that's when Sun was conjunct Uranus. We were having some pretty strong Uranus aspects and transits during that time in 2020. And this year that can also manifest, and I'm not saying or predicting protests will happen again, but something along those lines of just like rebellion within society, this feeling of like wanting to break free. We all know we're in this panoramic right now, and with the panoramic, we've been kind of indoors, trapped, and Uranus just wants to go break free. So some of us might be just traveling during that time, being more rebellious with how we act and behave. It will be Aries season and then Taurus season, so we can expect that sense of boldness to really leak through with this Sun-Uranus aspect. And with that being said, we'll get into the zodiac signs now. And I will also say that I have the list of events on my Instagram, so you guys can screenshot the list of events so you have them throughout the month. I also do updates on Twitter, on Instagram, so you guys can follow me at AstroKit on those platforms. And this will be more accurate for watching it from your rising sign. You can watch it for your sun or moon. I don't like to restrict people on what timestamp to watch, but I do the predictions based on rising signs, so you guys can watch it based on that first, and then watch sun or moon or whatever timestamp you feel called towards. Hello Aries, here is your prediction for the month of April. Happy birthday to all the April Aries and March Aries watching this. And here's what your month looks like in terms of the astrological breakdown, in terms of the astrological events happening next month. And before we get into it, I will say that I have an announcement, and that is I officially launched a new collection with my jewelry brand, K Jewelry XO, and it's called the Mystified Collection. If you guys are following me on Instagram, you saw it already, but if you haven't heard about it yet, it is live. It's on my site, kjewelryxo.com, and we're actually doing a giveaway. So if you guys want to win some cute pieces, I'm wearing some right now. We have butterflies and snakes and stars and hearts and eyes, all of it. I'm super excited about it, so check it out, kjewelryxo.com. To win the giveaway, go to kjewelryxo on Instagram. And so with that out of the way, let's just get into your prediction now. And April, like we talked about in the first timestamp, is this month that is really characterized by a fresh start. It is Aries season, so you know all about this enthusiastic, energetic energy that will be present in April. And so in April, the sun's going to be in your first house, and the new moon will be in your first house as well, which we'll talk about in a second. But sun being in your first house places the awareness on yourself, on your physical appearance, on your motives, your actions, your goals, your perspective on the world. And You might be really focused on your attitude, how you approach the world, and how you're perceived by the world, with the sun being in your first house and really lighting up your sense of identity throughout the month. You might be feeling more confident. You might be more recognized by your friends, by your peers, more magnetic, more charismatic, and just being this shining light for everyone around you, because it is your season. And that brings us into the next event and the main event, which is the new moon. And like we talked about in the first timestamp, this new moon is so exciting. It's so fortunate. It's so well aspected. And it represents this theme of new beginnings, this theme of new cycles starting, this theme of rejuvenation. And this is a great full moon for you to start something new when it comes to your appearance. Maybe you want to have a whole entire rebrand. This is a new moon where you feel like you want to change your hair, change your nails, change your aesthetic, and just kind of change the way you're perceived by the world. This new moon is a moment of clarity for you, where you get that strong sense of confidence to project your authentic self into the world. And that brings us to the next event, which is Uranus-Sun conjunction. So Uranus, as you guys know, is in Taurus right now, and the Sun will join Uranus and Taurus in a pretty tight conjunction on the 31st. That is the peak of the conjunction, but we can still feel it earlier than that. So we'll start feeling it around the 22nd, and this conjunction is happening in your second house. So what this means for you, Aries, is that there might be some sort of shocking change in your finances. Uranus, as we talked about in the first timestamp, is that planet of shocking change, of upheavals, of unpredictability. So you might have some sort of unpredictable shift in your money. The full moon is in your 8th house. So again, that theme of money is really strong for you. So you might randomly get some sort of inheritance, randomly get some sort of lump sum of money just given to you. And in the second house, though, you might also experience impulsively spending some sort of lump sum amount of money. And this might manifest for you, Aries, also as investing in cryptocurrency. Maybe you put some sort of large sum of money into cryptocurrency, into the stock market, and it just might pay off for you given the Scorpio full moon, we'll talk about that in a second, happening in your 8th house. So finance is strong with this Uranus-Sun conjunction. Again, it's very unpredictable, but what we can see about it is that it does have to do with money for you personally. It also can deal with that theme of appearance as well. Second house literally rules the face. It rules the throat as well. So you might drastically change your face, specifically go under some sort of procedure impulsively. Maybe you pierce something on your face. Either way, that is also highlighted with second house. And on a metaphorical level, you might change your values too. Second house is family values on another perspective. So you might change your values drastically, change something you believe drastically, change some sort of moralistic belief that you have, and change it in a drastic way, in an innovative way, with this Sun-Uranus conjunction in your second house. And that brings us to the last event, which is the full moon. Now, this full moon is in Scorpio, and this full moon's also squaring Pluto. And this full moon is a little bit more ominous. It's a little bit more dark. It's a little bit more pessimistic than the exciting new moon that we have on the 11th. But what Scorpio is good for is transformation. It's good for rebirth. It's good for purging things out of our life. And you're having that full moon in your 8th house. And so with this full moon in your 8th house, you definitely have this urge to purge any toxicity out of your life, purge anything that no longer serves you, especially on a subconscious level. 8th house really deals with our psychological mind, not really our conscious mind, but our psychological mind. So you might be just kind of doing that purging work, shadow work, to purge all of that out of your psyche in order to have this fresh start that you've really been manifesting throughout April. And another major aspect of this full moon for you, Aries specifically, is money. 8th house deals with other people's money and the way we get money through other people. So what I see happening for a lot of Aries with this full moon energy in your 8th house is definitely receiving money that was owed to you, that may have been blocked from you for a while. So this can manifest as receiving a settlement check, insurance check, stimmy check, even like some sort of debt or something being cleared. You can be clearing your debts during this time. Either way, you might be receiving some sort of lump sum amount that maybe you've been waiting for, you didn't expect. And paired with this Uranus energy of unexpectedness, you might get an unexpected check that you didn't know about, but it's something that has been maybe on its way to you, but it's been blocked from you for a while. This is the full moon where you actually get that money, you receive it. Eighth house, it kind of has to do with like insurance and debt and things. So you might even have your debts cleared by this time or clear some sort of large debt. Either way, you can expect potentially for some Aries receiving money that was owed to you, especially as it pertains to like insurance or settlement sort of checks. Either way, money is magnified here. And also with this eighth house energy, you might be contemplating the occult, contemplating alchemy or transmutation, or kind of brainstorming how to turn your negative situations into positive situations and focusing on that theme of transmutation. With that being said, this is your month ahead, Aries. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing. And also check out my jewelry line if you're interested, link down below. And I'll see you, Aries, in my next video. Hey, Leo, here's the month of April and what you can expect in your personal life next month. And like we talked about in the first timestamp, April is a month of new beginnings. And we're going to see what part of your life is experiencing this new beginning and this fresh start. Before we get into it, I do have an announcement to make, and that is I officially launched a new collection with my jewelry line, K Jewelry XO. The collection is called Mystified Collection. And if you guys are following me on Instagram, you have seen it already. But if you haven't seen it yet, head to the website, kjewelryxo.com, to shop that collection. And we're also doing a giveaway. So if you guys want to participate in that giveaway, win some really cute jewelry, head to kjewelryxo.com. That's where we are doing the giveaway. I'm also wearing some of the jewelry right now. We have like butterflies and snakes and hearts, but you guys can check it out on the website. Super excited about it. And that is it for that announcement. So let's get into the April predictions for you, Leo. So this is for tropical Leo rising, and you can watch this timestamp for your sun or moon sign too. And April for you, Leo, has a lot to do with faith, has a lot to do with optimism. It's a very fortunate month for you because you're having your ninth house activated. So you're going to have the sun in your ninth house, you're going to have this new moon in your ninth house, which we'll talk about in a second. But with the sun in your ninth house specifically, you have this illuminated sense of your future, of your life's purpose even. The ninth house deals with travel, but on like a metaphorical level, it deals with paths. It deals with life paths. It deals with destiny. And if we get really esoteric with it, it does deal with your life's destiny, your life's purpose. But on an everyday basis throughout April, you are focusing on your life's path, your journey, and not just focusing on that, but really thinking about where you want your life to go and perceiving it in a really optimistic way, in a way that you feel really like this strong sense of faith attached to where you're going, where you're headed. This really optimistic, upbeat energy is strong for you in April with this ninth house activated. And that brings us into the first event, which is the new moon in Aries, of course, in your ninth house. And this new moon, like we talked about in the first timestamp, it's a very fortunate new moon. It's a very exciting new moon. It's very well aspected. And it's an excellent new moon to manifest a new beginning and start a new cycle. And having this in your ninth house is very auspicious, considering that it allows you to create a new belief system. It allows you to really perceive your life in an honest, truthful, clear way. The ninth house, again, it really deals with this theme of destiny and purpose. So with this new moon, you can have a clear sense of what your purpose is, a clear sense of what your destiny is, and a clear sense of what your life path is. The ninth house deals with travel as well, so you can be traveling around this time. It actually is a pretty good time for you to travel, considering your chart setup in April. And I don't know if I just mentioned this, but the ninth house metaphorically deals with paths and your life paths as well. So choosing your life path, having your life path made clear to you is really strong with this new moon in your ninth house. And expanding your spiritual knowledge, expanding your spiritual consciousness is very strong as well. So you might be researching, taking a new course, starting a new program that has to do with academics. If you're in high school, if you're in college, if you're in grad school, this is an excellent month for you in terms of exams, doing well on your projects, if you have like a speech project of some sort to present to people, this is a great month where you do excel on that, maybe get a really great grade. It's really great academically for you to gain a new skill, gain more knowledge, and really raise your spiritual consciousness, raise your spiritual awareness. And that brings us into the Sun-Uranus conjunction. So this conjunction is happening on the 31st. It goes exact on the 31st. It climaxes that day. Uranus will be in Taurus. It's been in Taurus already. The Sun will join Uranus in Taurus at 10 degrees. On that day, however, we'll feel that Sun-Uranus energy conjoining together starting as early as the 22nd. So you're having the Sun-Uranus conjunction Leo in your 10th house. So what this means for you is that you might have some sort of shocking or unpredictable even recognition in your career. Uranus is that shocking, unpredictable energy that causes things to shift or change in a very drastic way, in a very unforeseen way. So you might see the unforeseen happen in your chart or in your life in April, where you change your job drastically, you change your reputation drastically, you change your brand, you change your even path in life. We talked about this theme of path so strong for you in April, and 10th house also deals with your long-term goals, your legacy. So this can trigger you to kind of change your legacy, change your reputation, kind of change how you're perceived in the world, in the public eye, on a world stage, with this Sun-Uranus conjunction happening in your 10th house. And I will say this is very important for you just because it's the Sun, it's your planetary ruler, so it's really relevant for you in terms of this change of reputation or job or career, or even just innovating your career, doing something different in your career and being recognized for it, being applauded for it, even going viral on social media for some sort of public display of creativity you have. Anything along those lines, you do gain recognition and gain a new perspective on your reputation with this Sun-Uranus conjunction in your 10th house. That brings us into the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. Now things get a little bit dicey, get a little bit mixy with this Scorpio full moon. Not just because it's in Scorpio, but it's also squaring Pluto. And so with this full moon, it takes on more of like a pessimistic theme, a dark theme, ominous theme, but it is really great for transformation and transmutation, and it's happening in your 4th house. So having this energy in your 4th house represents you having this sort of moment where you purge away the past. You might be deep cleaning your home during this time, and you might be doing some sort of spell work or magic related to burning like a list of things you no longer want in your life and just like burning it away. With that 9th house so activated for you, you feel so optimistic and forward seeking. And so with this 4th house activated with this full moon, you feel that sense of like wanting to be done with the past, wanting to be done with any negativity. And this negativity might be tied to your family. So this full moon in your 4th house of family, you might be kind of having some sort of confrontation with your family members, or you even cut off some family members. You have a Scorpio 4th house naturally, so that's already kind of a challenging placement, but this full moon in Scorpio kind of illuminates that energy even more and makes it clear to you what boundaries you need to draw with your family, who you need to keep in your close circle within your family, and this can be tied to your mother as well, or grandmother, so you can have issues there, and this can be tied to your mother, your grandmother, and kind of hashing out issues with them, having a fallout with them. I don't want to predict anything too negative with this aspect, but again, it is squaring Pluto, it is in Scorpio, so it can go to the extreme with Scorpio energy. So that's something to look out for. But on a metaphorical level, spiritual level, it's kind of like being done with the past. And for some of you guys, this can manifest as well as moving homes, or abruptly moving somewhere, wanting to move your location, change your home in some drastic, radical, scorpionic way, and really regenerating yourself with this energy. So to sum it up for you in April, Leo, you are heading into the future, you're really optimistic, and you're purging away the past by the end of the month. And with that being said, thank you guys for subscribing and liking this video. Don't forget to head to kjewelryxo.com and check out the new jewelry collection, and I'll see you Leos in my next video. Hey Sagittarius, here is your prediction for the month of April and what you can expect to happen in your personal life based on the astrological events next month. Now, April is this month of new beginnings. It's a fresh start for everyone. So we're going to see where in your chart you're having this fresh start and where you can expect this energy to manifest in your personal life. And with that being said, I do have an announcement, and that is I just officially launched a new collection with my jewelry brand, K Jewelry XO. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably already saw it, but if you didn't, the website will be linked down below. It's called kjewelryxo.com, and we are doing a giveaway. So if you guys want to win some really cute jewelry pieces, head to K Jewelry XO on Instagram. I'm actually wearing some of the pieces right now, as you guys can see. So we have butterflies, hearts, stars, eyes, all of it. I'm really excited. So to check that out, I'll link it down below. But for now, let's just get into your prediction. So April for you, it's a really exciting month. You have this energy, all of this exciting fresh start energy in your 5th house. And so with the sun in your 5th house for most of April, you find yourself really focused on pleasure, on entertainment, on anything you find exciting or fun. This can be a month where you are like partying, maybe you want to travel, you want to do things that really just make you happy. So whatever personally makes you happy, wherever you find most pleasure in life, you're really focused on that. And also you might be really focused on dating. Your dating life might be more exciting, have more action in April. And you also might just be really focused on this sense of individuality, this sense of authenticity, which is a really key theme to the 5th house of this theme of innovation and authenticity and really being your true authentic self. And that brings us into the first event we'll talk about, which is the new moon. So the new moon is in Aries in your 5th house. And this new moon is really exciting. Like we talked about in the first timestamp, you guys saw that. It's a really auspicious new moon. It's very fortunate, exciting, great for manifestation, great for manifesting a new beginning. And so for you, having this new moon in your 5th house, you might have this new beginning or fresh start relating to some sort of creative project you want to give to the world. Maybe you've been working on something and you finally give birth to it with this 5th house new moon activation for you. And 5th house, the reason I say give birth is because it represents pregnancy. So a lot of you guys, it would be funny if some of you guys were actually giving birth in April, but on a metaphorical sense, you are kind of birthing something new, birthing a new idea, birthing a new project. And some of you guys might even get a lot of attention for that project. If you drop a song, for example, if you're an artist, if you're a blogger, if you're an influencer, something like that, some type of creative project you publish does get a lot of attention, fame, goes viral online with this 5th house new moon energy you have. So it is fortunate for that, for recognition and fame and status, as well as just feeling really fulfilled by what you do in life. And a lot of you guys might even be kind of publishing this new sense of self to the world. Maybe you are kind of rebranding your image. Maybe you want to be more authentic and kind of put your authentic self out there in a more profound way. And you have the courage to do that with Aries season, of course, but also Aries new moon in your 5th house. So that's really exciting. And I'm trying to think anything else about this new moon. So if you wanted to start anything related to creative projects, this is a really great new moon to do so. You might even receive some sort of divinely inspired idea that's really unique, that catches a lot of attention, but it's really something you channel very authentically. It's a really good energy to channel something out. Not think too much about it, but just channel it out is great with this new moon. And that brings us into the next event, which is the Sun-Uranus conjunction. So the Sun will be conjunct Uranus exactly at 10 degrees on the 31st of April. But we can start feeling that Sun-Uranus energy start to come close to each other, starting as early as the 22nd. So what this means for you, Sagittarius, is by this time you'll have the Sun in your 6th house of Taurus, and Uranus is already in Taurus. So having that conjunction in your 6th house for you triggers a major change, a radical shift when it comes to your health, your diet, your routine. The full moon is also happening in your 12th house. So you're experiencing that really jolt of energy or jolting shift within how you do things, how productive you are, how you allocate your time accordingly. And this might trigger you to, for example, quit your job. It might trigger you to maybe even have some miscommunications with your employees or your coworkers. It can manifest so many different ways just because Uranus is so unpredictable. But it can have to do with your work life. It can have to do with your habits, your diet, your routine. You can have this moment where you're like, okay, I'm done with this habit, I'm done with this routine, I'm done with dairy, I'm done with meat. You might be just be shifting what you eat, shifting your diet, health, etc. in a very drastic, pivotal way with Sun, Uranus in your 6th house. And then also it might manifest for you as getting a new pet. You might randomly get a new pet. Something drastically might shift with your pet, so that's something to look out for. It's not really necessarily a negative aspect with Sun conjunct Uranus, but it can be extreme. So it's good to watch out for your pets in that sense. Maybe if you want to get a new pet, this is kind of like that energy for you. Get a new dog, cat, snake, whatever. And last but not least, we do have the Scorpio full moon on the 26th. And this full moon is a little bit more intense, chaotic, and not just because it's in Scorpio, but it's also squaring Pluto. So it's a really strong new moon that we feel that sense of pessimism or intensity or darkness, but it is a really great full moon for purging. It's great for rebirth, transformation, regenerating ourselves. It's the ultimate like phoenix energy. And so with this full moon in your 12th house, you have this urge or inspiration to purge the past. You might have this kind of like pessimistic, or you might feel a little bit more lower vibration towards the end of the month, given this full moon in your 12th house after all of that exciting energy in your 5th house. But what it does do for you is that it kind of cleanses your subconscious mind of anything toxic, anything you don't want to deal with anymore. The 12th house also links to the past or represents the past. So you might be just cutting off the past, burning it away. And I've been telling the other zodiac signs that this full moon reminds me of like doing any sort of magic or spells relating to making a list, for example, and then burning that list. There's like a lot of like fire magic that can be done with this full moon and just purging anything you don't want in your life, especially for you dealing with the past. And this full moon also deals with your mental health as well, and really taking care of that and really kind of digging deep into your own subconscious mind or psychology. This full moon is great for you because it illuminates those kind of darker parts of your mind you don't want to really address. And you being a Sagittarius, you're so positive, optimistic, but this is a moment for you that can be like, okay, this is dark, this is pessimistic, but what you do there is kind of like purge out those feelings or memories or past vibrations you no longer want in this exciting new beginning you're having in April. And the Scorpio full moon has a lot to do with revealing things, revealing secrets, revealing things that are dark or hidden. And we're going to see things dark, hidden, or secrets revealed on a global scale, but in your personal life, Sagittarius, you might have secrets revealed to you that you didn't know about, maybe secrets about your past. Someone from your past tells you a secret, or anything can be revealed there. It can have to do with 12th housey things, like death, but it can also deal with sixth house things like coworkers or pets or anything like that. So it is the time of secrets being revealed for this Scorpio full moon, and you can expect that in your life, especially with the 12th house activated for you. And if we can sum up your month, it's really about this sense of exciting new beginnings and creative projects, and also purging the past away is really strong for you, Sagittarius. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and head to kjewelryxo.com for the new jewelry drop on my website, and go to kjewelryxo on Instagram if you want to enter the giveaway. And I'll see you, Sagittarius, in my next video. Hey Cancer, here is your month of April and what you can expect to happen in your personal life next month based on the astrological events. Now, April is this month of new beginnings, this fresh start energy. So we're going to see what part of your chart and what part of your life is experiencing this new beginning and this fresh start energy. And before we get into it, I do have an announcement, and that is I officially launched a new collection with my jewelry brand, KJewelryXO. So if you guys missed it, or if you follow me on Instagram, you heard about this already, but I will link it down below. The site is live. It's called kjewelryxo.com, and we're actually doing a giveaway as well. So the giveaway is on Instagram at kjewelryxo. So if you want to win some jewelry, head to that Instagram. I'm also wearing some of the pieces right now. As you guys can see, we have butterflies and like snakes and stars and hearts. It's really cute. So I'm super excited. And with that out of the way, let's get into your prediction. Now, this will be more accurate for Cancer risings, but you can watch it for your sun sign or moon sign as well. It's using tropical astrology. So Cancer, the month of April for you is really exciting because you get this new beginning, this fresh start as it pertains to your career. And not just your career, but your reputation, your legacy, and your long-term goals are getting this boost and this fresh start as well. With this energy, you're having it in your 10th house, and you're having the new moon in your 10th house as well, which we'll get to in a second. But with the sun in your 10th house for most of the month, you are focused on your career, what you want your career to be, what you want your future to look like. You might be changing your career, changing up aspects within your career throughout the month of April. And you also might be focused on just like this sense of legacy. What do you want your reputation to be? What do you want to be known for? That's a really strong question that might come up for you in April. So you're really working on that theme or aspect of your life that has to do with public recognition, public relations, really working on your relationship with the public. You might be publishing something new within your career, getting a new job, getting a promotion, for example, anything to do with the public. You're really focused on that with this 10th house energy activated for you. And that brings us into the next event, which is the new moon. So the new moon happens on April 11th. It happens in your 10th house in the sign of Aries, and this new moon is so exciting. It's so fortunate. It's so auspicious. We talked about that in the first timestamp if you saw that, but this new moon is really great for new beginnings of all kinds. It's really great for finances as well. It's great for just rejuvenating yourself and starting something new. So having this in your 10th house is excellent for you when it comes to publishing something new within your career, especially if you're somebody who is in a creative field. If you're into music or art or something like that, it's really great for you to publish something in your career. And those of you who've been wanting to get into entrepreneurship, if you've been wanting to start a business, if you want to launch a new brand, a new blog, this is excellent energy for you to start that. Or you don't have to publish it with this new moon, but you can definitely start working on that strategy to publish your brand or business. This new moon energy really impacts you so positively when it comes to embarking on some sort of journey relating to entrepreneurship or owning your own business. And this new moon can also be exciting for you because it puts this really clear energy and puts this strong clarity on what your future is, what you want your path to be. It gives you that decisiveness to see your path in life and where you want to go. Metaphorically, the 10th house deals with the future, the 4th house is the past. So you're really focused on your future with this new moon, and it allows you to manifest a new future for yourself, manifest a new trajectory, really. It's really nothing small with this new moon. It's almost like a big shift for you in terms of your life path, your life journey. And it's also a great new moon to do any damage control relating to your reputation. If you want to make a better reputation for yourself, this is a good time. If you want to kind of put your personal brand out there, put yourself out there, put yourself on a public stage, you have that courage and energy to do so with this new moon in your 10th house. And what you do publish and do put out to the world gets recognized, maybe on a global scale. Maybe you post something, it goes viral, it gets a lot of attention. You get your status raised in April due to this positive energy in your 10th house. And for those of you in a corporate career, you might even get a promotion or gain an authority position within your career. And that leads us into the next event, which is the Sun conjunct Uranus aspect. And we can feel this aspect as early as April 22nd. However, it does go exact on the 31st of April at 10 degrees Taurus. So as most of you guys know, Uranus is in Taurus. It's been there. It'll stay there for years. And the Sun will join Uranus in Taurus near the 31st. So the last week of April, we can really feel that Sun Uranus energy. And Uranus energy is shocking. It's unpredictable. It causes major shifts and changes that you can't really foresee. So you're having that in your 11th house of Taurus. And this might cause you to gain popularity for some reason, gain fame online, gain some sort of attention or recognition on a public scale. This could also mean you go viral online for something you post, you gain recognition for a tweet, Instagram post, a TikTok, anything like that. And that's great for you guys that are in have a small business, if you have a brand or blog or something. This whole month for you is really about career. So if you want to get noticed with your brand or blog, this is like the moment where you do get noticed with this Sun Uranus aspect in your 11th house. And of course, how could we talk about the 11th house without talking about gains? And this can manifest for you quite rapidly and really unexpectedly, this sudden gain in your life. You can gain a lump sum of money. You can gain support of someone really important. 11th house does rule celebrities. So you can, I think we were talking about that earlier, how you can post something about your brand, maybe a celebrity wears it, and you gain a lot of recognition for your brand because of that. So there's a lot of manifestations for this energy in your 11th house, but just know it does cause a lot of social attention on you and causes a lot of recognition socially, especially on social media specifically. But in real life, you can just gain money, gain from your stocks, gain from your investments, and gain in a way that is really unexpected, shocking, or in a lump sum. So that's really exciting with this Sun-Uranus aspect in your 11th house. It can bring you new friends as well. Maybe you meet someone influential, you meet a celebrity, you just gain new friends in your social circles, you join a new group. There is this really optimistic forward momentum for you in terms of your business and your social networks with Sun-Uranus in your 10th house, on top of that 10th house energy you're having with the new moon. And that brings us to the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. Now, this full moon is a little bit more ominous, a little bit more pessimistic, dark, dreary, because it is in Scorpio, of course, but it's also squaring Pluto. So it kind of gives this more, I would say, lower energy, or kind of like chaotic energy, that is more pessimistic than this happy new moon we have on the 11th. But this full moon is really great for regeneration, transformation, rebirth, and you're having it in your 5th house, Cancer. So this is a really powerful full moon for you, where you might kind of have this truth illuminated to you. This full moon does deal with revealing things, revealing truths. So it might be revealed to you like what your true passion is, what your true purpose is. 5th house really shows us like our passion in life, our sense of authenticity, what we derive a lot of pleasure from. So you might be kind of realizing like, okay, this is what I find pleasurable. This is my true hobby. This is my true passion, not this other thing. And you gain this clear vision of what your true passions are and how you want to cultivate that, how you want to manifest your true authenticity into the world. And kind of do away with anything that is more forged on you, something that is more projected on you, and kind of being like, well, no, that's not me. That's not my identity. That's not my individuality. That's yours. Let me create my own thing and cultivate my own individuality and pay attention to my own purposes and pleasures. And it also takes on a very kind of creative theme for you, where you might be kind of channeling creative art, doing kind of like channeling anger or anything like that, or repressed emotions into art, into a song, into anything like that. 5th house is very creative energy, creative activities, and Scorpio is kind of like that dark energy. So you might kind of channel that dark anger, chaotic energy into your art some way, somehow, with this Scorpio full moon in your 5th house. And for you, Cancer, if we could sum up your month in just one sentence, it's a month where you are looking forward towards the future, you're starting new things in your career, and you're really doing away with anything that doesn't serve you, anything that doesn't align with your own individuality or your own pleasures in life. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and liking this video as well. And go to kjewelryxo.com to check out the new jewelry line and enter the giveaway on kjewelryxo Instagram. And I'll see you, Cancers, in my next video. Hey Scorpio, here is your month ahead and what you can expect in April based on the astrological events. April is this month of a new beginning, a fresh start for everyone, and we're going to see what part of your life, what part of your chart is being activated with this new beginning. And before we get into it, I do have an announcement to make, and that is I officially launched a new collection with my jewelry brand, kjewelryxo, and the website is kjewelryxo.com. It is live right now. I'm wearing some of the pieces, so cute. We have butterflies, which I know Scorpios love, and snakes and stars and everything, so it's really exciting. We're also doing a giveaway, so if you guys want to win any of these pieces, I'm giving away some of the pieces I'm wearing right now. Head to Instagram, kjewelryxo, and everything will be linked down below, so you guys can check it out. Right now, we'll just get into your personal prediction for April 2021. Now, April, like we talked about, it's this new beginning, this fresh start, and you're feeling that fresh start energy, that new beginning in your 6th house. So this means that with the sun in your 6th house for a lot of the month, and the new moon in your 6th house, which we'll talk about in a second, it creates this energy for you of self-improvement, improving yourself in some way. You might be really focused throughout April on working out, for example, fixing up your diet, fixing your routine, fixing your habits. You might even be working on your mental health as well, where you focus on any aspect of self-improvement that is relevant to you on your personal journey, especially like your personal elevation journey, your level up journey, whatever journey you're on, you're really focused on improving that somehow in April with this 6th house energy. And the 6th house energy is actually really powerful for you because it also gives you the courage, since it is Aries season, it gives you that courage to deal with tough things, deal with obstacles. 6th house is the house of tough things, obstacles, conflicts, enemies, things like that. So you have that power, that endurance, that courage to face your enemies, defeat your enemies, which is a very Scorpio thing, I feel like. And also just like the courage to face any conflict, obstacles, conquering conflict, conquering enemies, obstacles, just conquering is a really strong word with this 6th house energy activated for you. And that brings us to the new moon. So this new moon, it's really exciting because it's so well aspected. It's a really fortunate new moon. I get more into that in the first time stamp about the new moon. And I also like to talk about the new moons and full moons on Patreon in a more in-depth way. But nonetheless, this new moon in your 6th house gives you that courage, that energy to start a new cycle as it pertains to your health journey. So if you want to start a new diet with this new moon, new workout routine, it's really likely for you that that routine or new diet plan, eating routine will stick and actually have really great results for you. So this is a really great new moon for manifesting anything really. It's really great for new beginnings, but for you, since it's in your 6th house, I can imagine it takes on that theme of, again, self-improvement. So you set that new journey, set that new weight goal, health goal, hair growth goal maybe, or you do kind of improve that within your life and set that intention with this new moon in your 6th house. And another key theme with this 6th house energy is pets. So you might get a new pet with this new moon. It's actually really great energy for you to adopt a new pet, maybe dog, cat, snake, lizard, anything. If you want to adopt one or just get a new pet, you can do that with this new moon. I can imagine a lot of Scorpios having that urge with this energy in your 6th house of pets. And 6th house also is work. So you might get a new job with this new moon, manifest a new job, or it kind of creates more, I would say, energy at work where you are more amicable with your fellow employees. If you have employees of your own, this is more beneficial energy to interact with them. It's also great for conquering competitors. So 6th house, it's also competitors and people we compete with directly. So you might be overcoming any competitor you have, outdoing the competition. I know Scorpios, you guys can be competitive. So this is kind of like that energy of you winning something, winning that medal, coming in first place, and really being the top dog. And that brings us into the next aspect I really want to tell you guys about. And that is the Sun conjunct Uranus aspect. And the first time stamp, we talked about it a little bit, but in one word, Uranus represents shocking things. It represents everything unpredictable, everything that is very changeable. So having Sun conjunct Uranus, we're going to feel that from about the 22nd, and then it peaks at 10 degrees Taurus on the 31st. Uranus is in Taurus right now. The Sun will join Uranus and Taurus with this conjunction, and this is happening in your 7th house. And what this means for you is that you have a sudden shocking change in your relationships. You suddenly break up with someone, you suddenly get together with someone. It can go really either way with this Uranus energy. So you can expect that theme of shocking, unpredictable change to happen in your relationship aspect of your life. This can also deal with business as well. So you might even take on a new brand deal, for example, a new business endeavor very abruptly or shockingly. And you also might sign a contract in an impulsive way. Either way, it kind of deals with that in terms of relationships and friendships as well, maybe even business partnerships. So there's that shock factor with Uranus conjunct Sun in your 7th house for that chunk of time I just mentioned. And that brings us to the finale of the month, which is the Scorpio full moon. So this full moon is definitely very intense. It's very chaotic. It's a little bit dark, dreary, pessimistic because it is in the sign of Scorpio, but it's also squaring Pluto. So it kind of doubles up on that Plutonic energy. And you know more than anyone, probably, Plutonic energy can be intense. So with this full moon in your first house, nonetheless, it's a very intense time for you where you feel very emotional. You can feel very chaotic. Especially I can see for you guys with Sun in the 7th, conjunct Uranus, and then this full moon in your first house. You might feel the urge to make very impulsive decisions, make decisions that you normally wouldn't make, but you feel kind of in this energy of self-sabotage, in this energy of destructiveness. So it does take on this very destructive theme with this full moon energy in your first house, and it can manifest in your physical appearance as well, where you just randomly or impulsively like chop your hair off, you shave off your eyebrows, you get a piercing, get a tattoo. Either way, you might drastically change your appearance because of this chaotic, turbulent energy happening in your first house with this full moon. But as you know, probably more than anyone, Scorpio energy is about regeneration. It is about transformation, and it's really about that sense or that myth of the phoenix, of burning yourself down or burning something down to be rebirthed again. And so you might be doing that metaphorically with this full moon, burning down an old version of yourself, coming out new and refreshed, reformed. And this can deal with relationships as well, where you kind of burn out any toxic partnerships and maybe you make way for a new partnership, maybe later this year. But either way, it kind of, it's just like this regeneration moment. And if we can sum up your month, Scorpio, in one sentence, it has to do with this theme of self-improvement and drastically changing how you present yourself to the world and how you present yourself in partnerships. So with that being said, thank you guys for liking this video, subscribing to my channel. Also head to kjewelryxo.com for that jewelry launch and enter the giveaway at kjewelryxo on Instagram. And I'll see you Scorpios in my next video. Hello Pisces, here is your prediction for the month of April and what you can expect to happen in your personal life based on April's astrological events. Now this can be more accurate for Pisces risings, or you can watch this video for your moon or sun timestamp. It is using tropical astrology. And with that being said, April is this month of new beginnings. It's a fresh start, the fresh start we really need right now. And we're gonna see where in your chart, where in your life you're having this fresh start energy. But before we get into it, I do have an announcement to make, and that is that I just launched a new collection within my jewelry brand called kjewelryxo. It is the Mystified collection. So the website is kjewelryxo.com. It'll be linked down below so you guys can check it out. We're also running a giveaway on Instagram. So if you guys want to win that giveaway, go ahead and head to kjewelryxo on Instagram. I'm wearing some of the pieces right now in the giveaway, and on the website you guys can see we have butterflies and snakes and stars and hearts and stuff. So I'm really excited about that, so you can check it out down below. But for now, let's just get into your prediction for April. So April for you Pisces is all about the money. You have this really strong second house activation in your chart in April, and you're gonna have the sun sitting in your second house, as well as the new moon happening in your second house. And what this means for you is that you're really focused on your finances. You're really focused on your investments. The second house is such a fundamental house because it represents your support system. It represents how secure your foundation is. So that's what you can be doing in April, is really securing your foundation in the sense of money, in the sense of resources, and really creating a strong sense of security in your life, whatever that means for you. And with the sun in your second house, this can mean that you're focused on your income, you're focused on your revenue streams. Maybe you're focused on investing in new cryptocurrency or even new stocks or properties or things like that. You're really concerned with your future potentially and investing wisely into your future, investing wisely in order to create that really strong, secure base for yourself. And overall, you're really focused on security. Additionally, the second house does rule values. So you can be focused on your morals, your values. What are the pillars that you stand on? The visual we can get with the second house is this visual of a foundation of a house, pillars, things that support other things. So you're really focused on that sense of support, what supports you, who supports you, how can you gather more support in your life. And of course, we think of that as finances, but it can also just mean resources, people that support you, your family. That theme of support is really strong for you with this second house transit of yours. And luckily enough, you're having the new moon in Aries in your second house. And the new moon in Aries next month is very auspicious. It's very fortunate. It's so great, if not one of the best new moons this year for manifesting something new. And not just manifesting something new, but manifesting something with the intention of the results of it being successful in the long run. This is really great for long-term manifestations to really come to fruition. And with this fortunate new moon in your second house, you can have luck with manifesting anything related to material gain, related to creating that sense of security or support in your life. Maybe you need a certain amount of money to fund your business, for example. You need a new revenue stream, you need a new sponsor or investor or something like that. This is a great new moon where you can manifest those financial gains in your life, and it will come quite easily for you, more fluidly, because this new moon really supports that financial gain in your life. So that's really exciting with that new moon in your second house. And that brings us into the next event, which is Sun conjunct Uranus. So as you guys know, Uranus is in Taurus right now. It's been in Taurus. It'll be there for like decades. But Sun will join Uranus in Taurus exactly on the 31st at 10 degrees Taurus. However, we can start feeling that conjunction of Sun and Uranus starting on the 22nd. So what's going to happen is that last week of April, we'll start feeling like that Sun-Uranus energy that is very shocking, unpredictable. It is very electric, innovative, all of those Uranus qualities, and you're having that in your third house. And so with Sun-Uranus in your third house, this can activate maybe you learning a new skill. It can be something that manifests so many different ways because the third house is so diverse in that sense. But one of the main ways is that it can manifest that you can receive a message through social media that is really important. Maybe you post something to social media and it gains a lot of attention. It goes viral for some reason. You can start a new project that really catches a lot of people's attention. The Sun is fame, and then Uranus is social media. So there's a lot of potential there for you to gain through social media. There's that finance aspect for you. So maybe you're manifesting some sort of gain within your online business, your social media account, something along those lines. And the third house is also short distance travel. So you might go on a spontaneous road trip. You might go somewhere unexpectedly. You might travel unexpectedly. And you might just do it very impulsively and not even really plan for it. Another aspect of this aspect of Sun Uranus is definitely skills. So you might gain a new skill, you might start a new class, you might take a new course based on this energy. And overall, third house does rule desire, and it also rules courage. So you have that courage, that desire to make any of those goals you want reality, make them manifest into your life. There's that strong essence of manifesting your desires throughout April, and you have a really good chance of that with Sun Uranus. And on top of that, the new moon in your second house, it is all really conducive to manifesting your material desires in April. And that brings us to the last event, which is the full moon. So the full moon happens on the 26th. It happens in the sign of Scorpio. And this full moon, I won't lie to you guys, it's a bit more of a downer just because it is in Scorpio, but also it's squaring Pluto. So it does take on that volatile energy, that kind of chaotic, destructive energy that comes with Scorpio, that comes with Pluto. And you're having that in your 9th house. And with this full moon in your 9th house, it does trigger you to kind of dig deep into occult knowledge, occult sciences. You might find yourself going down some sort of rabbit hole during this time that leads you to an answer about reality, about society. I feel like Pisces placements are the type to really get into those metaphysical topics, quantum physics, things like that. And so this is the full moon where not only are you doing that, not only are you going down those rabbit holes, but you are finding out some sort of really valuable information, finding out some sort of secret. This full moon is a time where secrets are revealed, where truths are revealed, and you're probably going to be the person maybe telling those truths or vocalizing those truths to the world. Maybe you keep it to yourself, you write about it. Either way, there's that strong theme of really digging deep into secrets and finding things out as it pertains to metaphysics, science, aliens, anything like that. It gets really dark and deep with Scorpio and Plutonic energy, especially having this in your 9th house of knowledge and education. And in general, if you're probably not into those things, you can find yourself just trying to gain knowledge in some way, gain some sort of secret knowledge. Maybe you take on a new course, new skill, you start a new language. This is the kind of time for that. And 9th house again is travel. So you might also travel around this time. However, it's not as auspicious as it is in the beginning of the month when it comes to travel. So you can kind of watch out for that with that full moon aspecting Pluto with your 9th house. But either way, travel is magnified, and that can be short distance or long distance based on your chart in April. And if we can sum up your month in one sentence, Pisces, this is a month where you're really focused on fulfilling your material desires and gaining new spiritual knowledge. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video and subscribing to my channel. Also, don't forget to head to kjewelryxo.com to check out that new launch, and I'll see you, Pisces, in my next video. Hey Gemini, here's your month of April and what you can expect to happen in your personal life next month based on the astrological events. Now, April is this month of new beginnings and fresh starts, and we're going to see what part of your life, what part of your chart is experiencing this fresh start in April. And before we get into it, I do have an announcement, and that is I just officially launched a new collection with my jewelry brand, KJewelryXO. It's called the Mystified Collection. If you guys are following me on Instagram, you probably saw it already, but we officially launched and the website is down below. It's called kjewelryxo.com, and we're also running a giveaway right now. So if you guys want to win some really cute jewelry pieces, it's on Instagram at KJewelryXO, and I'm wearing some of the pieces right now. As you guys can see, we have like butterflies and snakes and stars and eyes, really cute. So that's super exciting. And so with that announcement out of the way, let's get into your prediction for April. Okay, in April for you, Gemini, it's definitely this month of gains. During April, you have your 11th house activated, which is the house of gains, and you're also having the new moon in Aries in your 11th house, which we'll talk about in a second. But April for you is very exciting because you have a lot of new things coming to you. You have new opportunities. And with the sun in your 11th house for most of the month, you are focused on your social networks. And even more than that, you're focused on your social impact. You can be focused on your social reputation, focused on your social media. This is a time where you might be even more recognized on social media. If you have an online brand, if you are a blogger or influencer, you have more attention coming to you through social media, and even new opportunities coming to you through social media. And it's also just very exciting because the 11th house does rule financial gain as well. So you can gain a lot through social media, or even just from your job, you can just gain more money than usual, have lump sum financial gains coming to you in April. And that brings us into the new moon. So the new moon happens in your 11th house. It's in the sign of Aries. And this is a really exciting new moon. It's really well aspected. It's also a new moon that is great for financial gain. It's just great for starting something new, starting a new business, starting a new cycle. There's that fresh start energy, and you're having it in your 11th house of gains, so it couldn't be any better. And so with this new moon, you might find that you're starting, let's say, a new brand. Maybe you're publishing a new creative project. Maybe you've been waiting to post something really important. Maybe you're in a creative career, for example, which I think a lot of Geminis are in creative careers. So it's really great for your creative brand if you have one in April, because you'll have a lot of recognition coming to you through that brand, especially on the 11th with this new moon. And you have that potential also to go viral on social media with this energy in your 11th house. And another great thing about the 11th house is that it rules powerful people. It rules influential people. It rules celebrities as well. And so this could mean for you that you gain recognition, attention, You gain support even from celebrities, from important people. Maybe you've been trying to amp up your brand, amp up your recognition, and this is the moment, this is the time period where you do maybe gain recognition from someone important, someone you admire, a celebrity, for example. That can happen for you with this energy in your 11th house. So that's really exciting with that 11th house energy happening for you. But that brings us into the next aspect. So an important aspect happening in April is Sun conjunct Uranus. So as you guys know, Uranus is in Taurus right now, and then the Sun will join Uranus exactly at 10 degrees on the 31st of April. However, we start to feel that Sun-Uranus energy together starting as early as the 22nd. So that last week of April, we start to feel the Uranus energy come into play really strongly in our consciousness. And Uranus is that planet of shocking new things, innovation, anything that is unpredictable, unforeseeable. Uranus is that planet. Having the Sun conjunct Uranus in your 12th house during this time represents shocking revelations as it pertains to divinely channeled knowledge. You might gain some sort of really key information that matters to you in your life through a dream, maybe through some sort of psychic ability. This kind of heightens that theme of psychic abilities for you, where you gain new knowledge through clairvoyance, clairaudience. Maybe you just start downloading information out of nowhere. It's this very spiritual, kind of metaphysical theme that it's almost hard to put into words how powerful this energy is with Uranus and the Sun in your 12th house during this time. So you can take advantage of it by, it's a really creative energy, so you can channel out creative projects. That's a theme for you in April overall. And this can also lead to channeling creative energy or downloading information through dreams. And that brings us into the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. Now, this full moon is nothing to play with. It is very mysterious, it's dark, it's pessimistic. It's kind of a downward energy from this exciting, enthusiastic new moon we have in Aries on the 11th. But what Scorpio is really good for is regeneration. It's good for rebirth. It's good for transformation. And so you're having this full moon in your 6th house, and it's happening on the 26th of April. And having it in your 6th house represents you breaking any habits that you have that are toxic. There's this theme with the 6th house of obstacles, this theme of sickness or poisons or things that kind of block us in a way. However, when you have this powerful full moon in your 6th house, it gets rid of those blockages. It helps you to purge those blockages from your life. And these blockages can specifically be bad habits, toxic thoughts. You'll have that Uranus Sun conjunction in your 12th house. So that whole Uranus scorpionic energy in this 12th, 6th house axis manifests for you as really breaking those patterns, breaking those habits, breaking that self-sabotage, which is a very 12th house theme, and kind of purging out any toxic thoughts you have or any subconscious thoughts. This Scorpio full moon really takes on a mental health theme for you personally as well. So you can be working on that with this full moon and purging out anything that no longer serves you in your new vibration, your new timeline that you want to create for yourself with this Aries season new start energy. And on a more everyday, regular level, if you guys have a regular job, this can create a little bit of confrontation with your coworkers, or maybe you quit your job, for example. It can be that extreme for some people. Since this full moon is in Scorpio, it's also squaring Pluto, so we have that double Plutonic theme. And Pluto is known for destruction. So you might feel like you're done with a certain job you do, done with a certain coworker. Maybe you're just done with whatever habit or something you do every day is just really on your nerves now. So you're just getting rid of it with this full moon in Scorpio. So if you could sum it up, this month for you is really about gains, gaining money, gaining friends, popularity, and also just purging out what you no longer need, purging out any toxins in your body, in your consciousness, and really cleansing, doing a deep cleansing of your spiritual self. And with that being said, don't forget to head to kjewelryxo.com for this new drop that I have. and enter the giveaway on KJewelryXO Instagram. And thank you guys for subscribing, watching this video, and I'll see you Geminis in my next video. Hey Libra, here is your month of April and what you can expect to happen in your personal life based on the astrological events next month. Now April, it's this month of new beginnings, and there's this really strong fresh start energy in April, and we're going to see what part of your life is gaining that fresh start and what part of your life you're having this new beginning in based on your birth chart. So before we get into it though, I do have an announcement, and that is I just officially launched a new collection with my jewelry brand, KJewelryXO. So you guys can check it out. The site is live now. It's called kjewelryxo.com. And we're also doing a giveaway. So to win that giveaway, you guys can head to KJewelryXO on Instagram. And I'm actually wearing some of the pieces right now, as you guys can see. We have some butterflies and snakes and hearts and stars. You can see that. But yeah, that's really exciting. So click the link down below to check it out. But for now, let's just get into your predictions for April. The month of April for you, Libra, is all about partnerships. It has to do with personal relationships as well as business partnerships. And that's because the sun will be lighting up your 7th house for most of the month, and the new moon is also happening in your 7th house, which we'll get to in a second. But having your 7th house lit up with the sun, it can represent for you gaining new friends, gaining new partnerships, and kind of just focusing in on what partnerships you already have. Now, granted that the sun will be in Aries, so it kind of gives it that very strong boundary setting energy. The sun tends to burn things that it is around, and especially having it in Aries in the 7th house, this can represent being a lot more forward, being a lot more bold in your partnerships, maybe standing up for yourself a lot more. You could be setting boundaries more strictly with people. It's really beneficial energy for Libras because you guys can be really considerate of people, and you can maybe struggle to set boundaries with people because you're someone who's naturally very nice to people. But this is the month where you set those boundaries, you set that line in the sand, and you really set your standards with other people, especially in a romantic sense, maybe with your partner, and really put your foot down. And this energy really benefits you when it comes to your business as well. 7th house is also business partnerships, not just romantic partnerships, but business. So if you're someone who needs to negotiate a business deal, you have the courage to do that. You might even gain more business opportunities within your career, especially if you're an entrepreneur or thinking about becoming one. This is the time where you gain that courage to do so, and gain that courage to set your price, negotiate it, set your rates, for example, and really just have that courage to put your foot down overall in personal relationships as well as business partnerships. So it's really great in that sense, but it can create a little bit of tension with other people or ego battles or arguments. Kind of creates this kind of bullish energy where it's like you're standing your ground, they're standing your ground, a little bit of conflict there, but conflict resolution is something you're skilled at. So I'm sure you'll do fine with Aries sun in your 7th house for a good chunk of the month. And that brings us into the new moon. So the new moon's in Aries in your 7th house. And this new moon is really well aspected. It's a really exciting new moon. It's a really auspicious new moon. It's great for starting new things. It's great for initiations. It's great for really starting things we want to last and starting new cycles for ourselves. So it's really great to manifest a new cycle in your life, maybe as it pertains to business, as it pertains to a certain partnership, especially if you're someone who's maybe an entrepreneur or something. You have a small business, maybe you need to gain the support of a certain investor, you need to gain the support of or it would help you to gain the support of someone more powerful than you, or like a business manager, something like that. You can gain that with this new moon, or manifest that and just gain a lot more support in your business. And in a personal sense, you can initiate a new relationship. And it doesn't have to be literally starting a new partnership, but starting a new cycle in partnerships. Maybe you're starting a new cycle where you do stand up for yourself more, you do set more boundaries. You kind of deal away with those people that no longer respect you, that you don't respect back, or people that kind of dismiss or disrespect your boundaries. You have that strong sense of keeping and maintaining boundaries in April, and you're kind of cutting people out who don't align with that. So this new cycle you're starting is very beneficial for relationships and the long term for you. Now, if you did want to start a relationship or manifest a partner, this is a really great new moon to do so. You have really great energy working for you when it comes to manifesting a new prosperous partnership where you guys respect each other in that partnership. And this can do well with manifesting a new business partnership as well, or working with someone you really want to work with professionally. And speaking of professionally, this 7th house new moon energy is great for you on the PR front. So if you're someone who is a public figure, if you're an influencer, if you have a public image, this is a time where you are working on your public image. Maybe you're working on your PR a little bit more, your reputation a little bit more, and showing your more creative side to the world. Maybe you're launching a new business or something within your small business already. This is the time where you do get recognition from that, from your peers, from people around you. You have a lot of great PR going for you, working for you if you're someone in the public eye with this new moon in your 7th house. And that brings us into another major aspect in April, and that's the Sun-Uranus aspect. So Sun and Uranus will be conjunct exactly at the same degree, 10 degrees Taurus, on the 31st. However, we start feeling that conjunction earlier than that. So we start feeling it around the 22nd, and Uranus energy is known to be radical. It's known to be shocking, unpredictable. It's known to be innovative. And you're having this Sun conjunct Uranus energy in your 8th house. So what this means for you is that there is a shocking event happening in your life around that time that has to do with money, finances. It can do with relationships as well. For some of you guys, it can manifest as like a breakup. It doesn't have to manifest that way, but it's kind of looking like that with this 7th house energy, 8th house energy. 8th house is endings. It rules death as well. So there's kind of like that metaphorical death happening or breakups happening in close partnerships of yours, which is inevitable in life, but specifically it'll happen maybe around that Sun-Uranus conjunction. And also money. So 8th house is money, but money we get through other people, money we get through insurance, through settlements. So you can expect maybe some sort of shocking inheritance you didn't expect, shocking settlement you didn't expect, maybe shocking stimulus check, anything like that. You can receive some sort of random lump sum of money that was owed to you with this energy in your 8th house. So that is the exciting part about Uranus in your 8th house, and the Sun conjunct Uranus is this new financial gain, maybe doing away with people in your life or breaking up with certain people, or just ending a certain version of yourself that no longer aligns with this new timeline you're creating with Aries season, this fresh start in April. And that brings us to the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. Now this full moon is very intense. It's very dark, ominous. It carries that kind of pessimistic Plutonic theme, not only because it's in Scorpio, but it's also squaring Pluto. So we have that theme of like turbulence, that theme of destructiveness with Pluto at play here, Scorpio at play here, and you're having that in your 2nd house. So having your 2nd house lit up with this full moon represents you purging or getting rid of something in your finances. Scorpio energy is very extreme. So for you, Libra, you can either gain a lot with this aspect or gain a lot with this full moon energy in your 2nd house, especially opposing Uranus in your 8th house. You have this random gain of money, random gain within the stock market, within Bitcoin or something like that. But you also might lose something at the same time. So 8th house energy, Plutonic energy, Scorpio energy is loss. 2nd house is finances. So that's also kind of in the stars for you. I don't want to make it like a negative thing, but Scorpio, it is very extreme. So it can go either way. You can experience both extremes, but losses and gains is huge here with you with this full moon in your 2nd house. However, the great part about this Scorpio full moon is that it gives us that energy and inspires us to purge things in our life. So you might purge anything relating to finances, anything relating to values as well. 2nd house deals with our morals and values. So you might be getting rid of any values or morals that no longer align with you and align with your new path that you are creating. And if we can sum up your month in one sentence, Libra, it has a lot to do with relationships, creating new relationships, or ending relationships, as well as finances. and specifically losses and gains within your finances throughout April. And with that being said, thank you guys for subscribing to my channel and liking this video. Don't forget to head to kjewelryxo.com for that new jewelry launch, and I'll see you Libras in my next video. Hey Aquarius, here's your prediction for the month of April and what you can expect to happen in your personal life based on the astrological events next month. Now April, it's this month of new beginnings. It's this month that carries the energy of a fresh start. So we're going to see where in your chart, where in your life you're having this fresh start, and more importantly, where you're having this new beginning. And before we get into it, I do have an announcement to make, and that is I officially launched a new collection within my jewelry brand, KJewelryXO. And you guys probably heard about it if you follow me on Instagram at AstroKit, but the website is live right now, so you guys can check it out. It's called kjewelryxo.com. We are running a giveaway right now, so if you want to win some cute pieces, head to kjewelryxo on Instagram. And I am wearing some of the pieces right now from the collection, and in the giveaway, as you guys can see, we have butterflies and hearts and snakes and stars. So it's super cute. You guys can check that out down below and enter to win the giveaway on Instagram, KJewelryXO. And with that being said, let's get into your prediction for April. April for you, Gemini, is quite the busy month. You're going to have your third house activated with the sun, and also you'll have the new moon in your third house, which we'll get to in a second. But having the sun in general in your third house for the bulk of April, you're going to be focused on your own creative projects, focused on any sort of media project, specifically if you're somebody who has a blog, if you have an online Instagram account that you pay attention to a lot or that you use for business. You're really focused on those things. And the cool thing about the third house and the great thing about this transit for you is that third house rules our courage. It rules our ability to initiate things. So you can be initiating new things in April, especially as it pertains to media projects. Maybe you're starting a new blog, maybe you're starting a new business, for example. It is very beneficial energy for you to start new things, start new projects, even collaborate with new people. This is a very social energy for you, which Aquarius, you're probably already naturally the social butterfly, but this third house energy kind of amplifies that social butterflyness and allows you to make new connections, new professional connections, new networking connections, anything like that. It is very social, and you might be doing a lot of exchanging messages online, exchanging different theories online, for example, being on message boards. You might even do a collaboration publicly with someone else. If you guys are in a media-based career, if you do YouTube, or if you are on Clubhouse or something like that, you're really active vocally, you're active verbally in April with this third house energy. And also the next event we'll talk about is the new moon. So the new moon's happening in your third house in the sign of Aries. And this new moon is really exciting. It's this fresh energy. It's this rejuvenating energy. And like we talked about in the first timestamp of this video, is that this new moon is great for new beginnings. It's great for initiating anything we want to be really successful for the long term. It's great for starting new cycles. This is just like one of the best new moons this year for manifesting something new. And having this in your third house is great for manifesting new social connections. Maybe you might be traveling with this new moon. Third house is short distance travel, but you can also be doing long distance travel. Maybe you're planning your travel trips in the summer, for example. You have really auspicious energy towards travel with this new moon, and really great energy when it comes to just collaborating with people, collaborating with like-minded individuals, with your peers, with your coworkers, and being really recognized for anything you do in terms of media or communications. You might be recognized for something you write online, something you speak, maybe a song, anything verbal. You have that great energy working for you to be recognized or be received well by the public or received well by your audience, specifically if you're like a public figure. And this is one of the best new moons to start a new skill. If you're someone who's been wanting to start a new skill, this is excellent energy to start the new skill because it has more of a chance of being permanent. So for example, if you wanted to start a new language, if you wanted to start a new course, if you wanted to start a new program, it's really great to do it under this new moon energy. And I don't know if I said, but the new moon is on the 11th. So on the 11th, the days surrounding the 11th, it's really great to start that new learning skill that you want to learn. It can be physical too, so you can start a new skill in terms of like biking or rollerblading or anything like that, anything having to do with driving as well, motor skills, your legs, your arms. It's great for those kind of things, and just gaining knowledge in general. Learning new skills is great with this new moon in your 3rd house. And that brings us into another aspect to look out for in April, and that is the Sun conjunct Uranus aspect. So that aspect happens it goes exact on the 31st at 10 degrees Taurus, but we can start feeling the Sun conjoining Uranus as early as the 22nd. So this is happening in your 4th house. And what this means for you is that something shocking, something unpredictable. Uranus is this energy that you're probably familiar with that is very innovative. It's very Aquarius-like. It breaks patterns. And it's really great for you because it's in your 4th house of the past. So you can find yourself in April breaking patterns with the past, breaking patterns in terms of ancestral trauma. 4th house does rule ancestry, so you can be really focused on your ancestry, focused on your lineage, for example, and breaking any patterns you see within your family that are not productive for the long-term legacy. Legacy is a huge focus point for you with this Sun-Uranus aspect, especially towards the end of April, with Sun and Taurus in your 4th house of home and family. This can also create a situation for you where you do move abruptly. Maybe you move unexpectedly, maybe you move apartments, you move houses, you move rooms. It doesn't have to be too drastic, so maybe you could just rearrange your room spontaneously, but that spontaneous energy does trigger you to change up your home environment in some way, and that's the physical manifestation of it, changing your home environment, changing your relationship with your family, changing that dynamic around, and then metaphorically you're kind of doing that work to break generational patterns, break any generational trauma. And speaking of trauma, that brings us into the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. And this full moon happens on the 26th in your 10th house. So Scorpio energy, and especially this full moon specifically, it will be squaring Pluto. So we have that double scorpionic, plutonic influence. So this full moon does take on a very intense theme, kind of dark theme, a little bit pessimistic, destructive or chaotic, even turbulent, because Scorpio does deal with those things. And on top of that, it's squaring Pluto. So we have that influence that can be quite destructive in our lives. However, what Scorpio is good for is rebirth. It is good for regeneration. Having this in your 10th house of public image, reputation, career, you can drastically change your career. You can go through some sort of traumatic event in your career, and I don't want to say anything negative will happen to you or to your career, but Scorpio energy, plutonic energy, Uranus in the mix here, it's very unpredictable, it's very extreme. So you can experience maybe one extreme of this plutonic energy of having a public scandal, for example, being publicly humiliated, for example. That is really possible with Scorpionic energy. But on the bright side and not so negative side, it doesn't have to be negative. It can be positive in the sense that you just regenerate yourself within your career. You start over with your career. You have a fresh start with social media, for example. If you're somebody who wants to kind of start over your image, you want to start over your reputation, you just want to get rid of anything that you find to be too tied to the past. There's that theme for you in April of pattern breaking, so you really want to break that pattern, maybe with your reputation, maybe with your career, what you're known for, and kind of restart your career, restart your reputation overall. That's the great part of this plutonic energy in your 10th house around the time of that full moon. But again, it can create that turbulence of maybe quitting your job or maybe being fired from your job or anything like that that does deal with kind of like the negative side of Scorpionic energy. But I'm sure you can imagine other scenarios with this Scorpionic energy, so I don't want to be too negative about it. But in general, it is really great for that reset or restarting your career from scratch, restarting from scratch on social media or something along those lines. And with that being said, if we could put your month into a sentence, it's definitely about purging the past, dealing away with the past, and it's also about starting new things, starting new projects, media projects, businesses, and maybe even starting new friendships with people, starting new collaborations with people. It is very social as well for you, so that is exciting, but you can expect that theme within your career of starting over to maybe leak through as well. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching and subscribing to my channel and liking this video. Don't forget to head to kjewelryxo.com for that jewelry launch, and go to kjewelryxo on Instagram for that giveaway. And I'll see you, Aquarius, in my next video. Hey Taurus, here is your prediction for the month of April and what you can expect in your personal life to happen based on the astrological events next month. April is this month of new beginnings, this month of a fresh start for everyone. So we're going to see what part of your life personally is experiencing this fresh start energy and where you're experiencing this new beginning. And before we get into it, I do have an announcement, and that is I just launched a new collection within my jewelry brand, KJewelryXO. And if you guys are following me on Instagram, you probably already saw it, but the site is live now, so you guys can head there, kjewelryxo.com. And we're also doing a giveaway. So if you want to win some really cute pieces, head to Instagram, KJewelryXO, to enter that giveaway. And I'm also wearing some of the pieces right now on the website and in the giveaway. As you guys can see, we have butterflies and snakes and hearts and stars. So cute, and I'm so excited for it. So check out the website. And right now we'll just get into your prediction for April. The month for you, Taurus, is very transformational. It changes you on a physical level, which we'll get into in a second, but it also changes you in a spiritual sense, in a metaphysical sense. And that's because you're having really strong 12th house activation. And you'll have the sun in your 12th house for a good chunk of the month before it goes into your first house for Taurus season. And then you're going to have the new moon in your 12th house, which we'll get into also in a second. But the sun sitting in your 12th house places that strong emphasis for you on your spiritual journey. You might be contemplating the past a lot. The 12th house, it's the last house in our charts, right? So it's this kind of moment where you take stock of anything you've experienced this past personal year. With your birthday coming up shortly in May and late April, you kind of have this realization of where your life has been and where your life is going, and you're going to get that fresh start by the end of April. But in the beginning, you're kind of focused on what has made you into who you are today. You're focused on past experiences. You might be feeling a little bit more nostalgic, a little bit more melancholy. 12th house energy can lead to this feeling of tiredness or lethargicness. So you might be not too motivated or enthusiastic as possible physically, but you might be channeling that physical energy into, for example, yoga or breath work, especially with Taurus season or Aries season happening in your 12th house. It can manifest as sort of like this repressed anger energy, and you have that urge to want to let that anger out in sporadic ways or in really channeled ways, and you can do that probably through yoga or sports or something like that. And you might find yourself focused on how to release that anger, release any trauma through physical activity. And the new moon is happening on the 11th of April, and it's happening in your 12th house in the sign of Aries. And this new moon is actually really auspicious. It's really fortunate. It's a new moon that's really great for manifesting anything new. It's great for initiations. It's great for manifesting a new cycle, manifesting something we want to be successful in the long run. So with that happening in the 12th house, you might be inspired to manifest letting go of the past, manifest letting go of anything that has been traumatic for you, any memories, any subconscious baggage. With 12th house, we get this strong image of baggage and things that are no longer full of life. It's kind of like a lifeless energy with the 12th house. So this new moon kind of gives you that energy to let go of those things, let go of what is lifeless in order to bring new things into your life, with Taurus season coming up towards the end of April. And the other aspect to look out for in April is the sun will be conjunct Uranus. Now this aspect happens as early, we can start feeling it as early as the 22nd, but it does peak in 10 degrees on the 31st. And this is happening in your first house of Taurus. And this Sun-Uranus energy does represent drastic change, drastic transformation, anything relating to something shocking happening. So you might shockingly or drastically or impulsively change your physical appearance. You might drastically maybe get a tattoo. You might get a piercing, you might change your hair, do a big chop or something like that, or you change your appearance in some way. And it's kind of changing your appearance in a way that can tie to some spiritual ritual for you, or something spiritual is related to this kind of rebrand for you. So it can be spiritual, it can just be because you want to, but either way, shocking change to your appearance can happen for you with Uranus conjunct the sun in your first house. And it can also manifest even as just like a new hair color, for example. And then on a more metaphorical level, it can manifest as you changing your attitude towards life, changing your perspective, thinking of a new innovative idea, thinking of a new way to present yourself in a more authentic way and in a unique way to the world at large. You also might feel a lot more rebellious with this energy in your first house, and staying true with that very Taurus theme of stubbornness, really rebelling against anything that holds you back, rebelling against people that hold you back, and just really doing your own thing with this Sun-Uranus conjunction in your first house from about the 22nd to the 31st. And that brings us into the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. Now, the Scorpio full moon happens in your 7th house, so this energy for you is quite intense. It is quite transformative, like we talked about. And the Scorpio full moon is kind of harshly aspected since it is squaring Pluto, so we have that double Scorpionic influence. And Scorpionic energy can be destructive, it can be chaotic, it can be turbulent and extreme. So we can kind of expect that energy to manifest maybe around this full moon. And this energy can leak into your relationships. So during this full moon, you might realize who you're with right now, especially romantically, who is close around you, who is your close personal relationships, and thinking of maybe you need to purge some people out of your life. You need to get rid of people out of your life. The Scorpio theme here also stays true to purging, to getting rid of things, to rebirth, regeneration, and that's the more positive part of Scorpio energy. It kind of gets rid of anything that you don't need, but it gets rid of things in a kind of chaotic, destructive process. So some of you guys, this can manifest in an extreme sense where you break up with someone, you have a falling out with someone, or you just kind of calmly or kindly just tell people like, okay, this is no longer working out. Let's not continue this. And either way, it does trigger breakups in your life. It can trigger endings in your life and give you that courage to kind of purge anyone out of your life that no longer serves you. And the interesting thing about this full moon is that it does reveal secrets. As you guys know, Scorpio does deal with secrets. It deals with hidden things, and this full moon will illuminate any hidden things that was kept from you, especially in relationships. So maybe you find out something about someone you're with and it's like a secret that they tried to keep from you, and you find out with this full moon, and maybe that leads to a breakup or an argument or something. But either way, you find out something really shocking, especially with Uranus in your first house, full moon in your 7th house. You have that opposition of shocking things happening, shocking news being brought to you about close personal relationships or people you're in a relationship with. So tell me how that turns out by the end of the month in the comments. But with that being said, the entire month for you, if we could sum it up in a sentence, has to do with this kind of spiritual regeneration within yourself, purging the past out of your life, purging people out of your life, and really having this new authentic rebrand within yourself, and rebrand with how you present your identity to the world. And that is pretty much your month ahead, Taurus. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my channel. Also, head to kjewelryxo.com for that new jewelry launch, and I'll see you, Taurus, in my next video. Hey Virgo, here is your prediction for the month of April and what you can expect to happen in your personal life next month based on the astrological events. Now, this will be more accurate for Virgo risings, but you can watch this video for your sun sign or moon sign timestamp as well. And April is this month of new beginnings, this month of fresh starts for everyone. And we're going to see what part of your life is getting that new beginning and getting that fresh start in April. And before we get into your prediction, I do have an announcement, and that is I just launched a new jewelry line within my jewelry brand, KJewelryXO. A lot of you guys may have seen it on Instagram already, but if you haven't, the site is live now. It's called kjewelryxo.com, and we actually are running a giveaway. So if you want to enter to win some really cute exclusive jewelry pieces, head to KJewelryXO on Instagram and enter the giveaway there. It's pretty simple. And also, I am wearing some pieces right now, so you guys can check that out. We have butterflies and snakes and eyes and all of it. So it's really exciting. And let's get into your prediction now. Simply put, for you, Virgo, in April, it's a very transformative month. Not only are you having a fresh start, but you're having a fresh start that is happening in your 8th house. For most of the month, you'll have the sun sitting in your 8th house during Aries season before Taurus season starts. And then you're also having the new moon in your 8th house, which we'll get to in a second. But having the sun in your 8th house is really powerful in terms of regeneration, rebirth, transformation. And this can all happen for you on a very psychological level. This can be a month for you where you're really focused on your inner dialogue, your shadow work, your shadow self. You're focused on those more taboo, dark subjects that you don't address on a regular basis, given the dark nature, the secretive nature of the 8th house. And you're dealing with your own secrets, maybe other people's secrets, and you're dealing directly with that theme of darkness and bringing what's in the darkness to light. Potentially you are integrating your shadow, doing shadow work, doing anything that relates to kind of like this rebirth process of a new version of yourself. And that brings us into the new moon on April 11th. This new moon is very exciting, very powerful, and it's really great for new beginnings in general. It's a very auspiciously aspected new moon. I talked about that in the first timestamp, if you guys saw that. But with this new moon in your 8th house specifically, it's a time where you might feel really inspired to just really purge things out of your life, do a lot of purge work in terms of your psychological mind, your subconscious mind. If you have any thoughts of self-doubt, if you have any self-sabotaging behaviors, this is the month, this is the time period, especially with this new moon, where you confront yourself, you confront that toxicity, and more importantly, you confront your fears. 8th house deals a lot with fears, it deals a lot with everything we don't like to confront directly, and this is the time period where you have that courage, that boldness, that Aries fiery energy to confront your own self, your own toxic habits, your own negative self-talk, your own self-sabotaging behaviors. You're really confronting it with this new moon in your 8th house. And we can't talk about the 8th house without talking about money. And this new moon in general has a lot to do with money. But having it in your 8th house of other people's money is more auspicious for you in terms of maybe gaining some sort of money, or it can manifest also as like inheritance, insurance checks, settlement checks, stimulus checks, anything along those lines you can inherit or gain really through other people, gaining a lot of money through your spouse even, or your spouse has a really good business month, for example, and you gain indirectly from that. So 8th house really deals with gaining indirectly or gaining money indirectly, gaining finances from other people. So you might experience that with this full moon, or this new moon rather, in your 8th house. And it's also good for you to manifest money or finances, financial stability. If you want it to be like debt-free, for example, this is the month where you kind of manifest that, or you do that directly. If you wanted to manifest your credit cards being paid off or something along those lines, it does happen for you. It has that likelihood of happening with this really auspicious new moon in your 8th house in the sign of Aries. And that brings us to the next important aspect of the month, which is the Sun conjunct Uranus aspect, which happens starting as early as the 22nd, and then it climaxes on the 31st at 10 degrees Taurus exactly. So as you guys know, Uranus is in Taurus, and it'll stay there for several years, but the Sun will join Uranus and Taurus by the 31st, and we start to feel that conjunction really strongly at the end of the month, specifically like the last week of April. And this conjunction is shocking. It's unpredictable. Uranus energy is very innovative. It represents this inventiveness and this theme of patterns being broken. And so you're having that energy of Uranus conjunct the Sun in your 9th house of Taurus. And so what this means for you is that during that conjunction time period, you might have this sudden change of beliefs, this sudden change of knowledge. Maybe you discover something really powerful. The 8th house also deals with the occult, which I didn't mention earlier, but it comes to mind now since the 9th house rules education and learning. So with this Sun conjunct Uranus in your 9th house, you might gain some sort of occult knowledge. Maybe you discover some sort of really powerful secret that changes your life, changes your perspective. But you might have this really strong epiphany that changes your outlook on life, changes your perspective. It just changes your life completely. And it can do with knowledge, can do with research, any sort of occult topic even. And speaking of knowledge, this brings us to the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. Now, the Scorpio full moon is nothing to play with. It's a very intense, very dark, a little bit pessimistic full moon. And not just because it's in Scorpio, because it will be squaring Pluto as well. So we kind of get that double scorpionic influence with this full moon on the 26th. And it is going to be in your third house. And Plutonic energy, scorpionic energy, it can be destructive, it can be chaotic, it can be unpredictable, sort of like Uranus. It can be extreme. Having it happen in your third house of communication, you might find yourself extremely changing your views on something. You might even be kind of just changing the way you perceive the world in a very radical way. You might have some sort of very strong opinion that you want to express on social media, for example, but given the volatility of this full moon, it's probably not the best to express those opinions on social media on that full moon day, but it can lead to kind of like that chaotic energy if you do express your opinions a little bit too strongly with other people. But either way, the bright side about this full moon, the bright side about scorpionic energy is that it does bring rebirth. It does bring purging, so you can purge out certain ideas within you. You can purge out certain beliefs within you that don't contribute to your new timeline you're trying to create. I think in general for you in April, it's really about purging anything you just no longer want to continue in your future. That 8th house transit confirms that. This 3rd house Scorpio full moon confirms that. So it is a little bit chaotic or turbulent for you throughout April with all of this scorpionic energy in your chart. But by the end, you do rise up as the phoenix. You do rise up more optimistic, refreshed, really reborn by the end of the month with this Scorpio regeneration process happening for you in April. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video and subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to head to kjewelryxo.com for that new launch I mentioned, and also kjewelryxo on Instagram for that giveaway if you want to win some really cute jewelry pieces. And I'll see you Virgos in my next video. Hey Capricorn, here is your prediction for the month of April and what you can expect in your personal life based on the astrological events next month. Now, April is this month of new beginnings, this fresh start for everyone, and we're going to see what new beginning is happening in your life and where exactly in your life you're feeling this fresh start energy of Aries season. And before we get into your prediction, I do have an announcement, and that is I just launched a new collection within my jewelry brand, kjewelryxo, and the collection is now live on the site. It's called kjewelryxo.com, and we're also having a giveaway. So if you want to win some really cute exclusive jewelry pieces, head to kjewelryxo Instagram to enter that giveaway. And I'm wearing some of the pieces right now in the giveaway, and on the site we have some butterflies, snakes, stars, eyes, all of that, so that's really exciting. I'll link everything down below. So in April for you Capricorn, your 4th house is activated with the sun as well as the new moon in Aries, which is happening on the 11th, and we'll get to that new moon in a second. But having the sun in your 4th house during most of the month in April, you're really focused on your home environment, your family environment, and also focused on your legacy. In a metaphorical sense, the 4th house can be seen as a place that deals with the past, it deals with ancestry, it deals with your lineage. So you might be focused on your own ancestry, taking an ancestry DNA test, for example, studying your lineage, studying your grandparents, or just really studying your ancestry in general. And also in a realistic sense, you're just focused on your home life, your home environment. Maybe you're more interactive with your family at this time. Maybe you are even starting a business with a family member, for example. Maybe you're starting a new project with a family member, or just kind of starting a new cycle with your family members or people that you live with, people that you consider family. There's that theme of like fresh starts, fresh cycles beginning with Aries season. So you might be doing that with your family directly. And you also might be changing your home around, changing your home environment. You might literally move in April or make plans to move, make plans to get a new apartment, renovate your home, anything along those lines. You guys also might get a new car in April, maybe start saving up for a new car, start manifesting for a new car. And with that being said, that brings me into the first event, which is that new moon. So the new moon's happening on the 11th in the sign of Aries in your 4th house. And overall, this new moon is very auspicious. It's fortunate. It's great for starting something new and having that new thing last until completion, and having any new manifestation have great results in the long run. So with this new moon in your 4th house, you can be manifesting or starting something new in terms of home. So you might be manifesting a new apartment, manifesting a new home. You might even be finding out something new about your ancestry, your past, and really just digging into what your past is and considering that or comparing that with your future and where you're headed in life. There's this kind of focus for you of the past versus future. And this new moon is also great for you because 4th house does deal with our inner happiness and our inner contentment. So you might be, with this new moon, since it's so well aspected, it's so fortunate, feel this strong sense of happiness or inner contentment, the strong sense of feeling really happy with your life at the moment and feeling kind of fulfilled with whatever you're doing at that moment in April. So it does bring that sense of inner happiness for you with this new moon in your 4th house. And it's also great to manifest new things pertaining to home and family. Even vehicles or property can be beneficial for you now or during that new moon, where you invest in new property, invest in a new vehicle, invest in anything having to do with those 4th housey items like property, vehicles, or assets. And that brings us into the next major aspect of April, which is the Sun conjunct Uranus aspect. Now this happens, we can start feeling this Uranus and Sun energy come together on the 22nd of April, and then it peaks at 10 degrees Taurus on the 31st. So what this means is that it's happening in your 5th house. So this energy of Uranus is known to be shocking, exciting. Something groundbreaking usually happens when Uranus aspects a luminary like that. So having Uranus aspect the Sun in your 5th house, nonetheless, you can find that you give birth to something new, you give birth to a new creative project. The 5th house does deal with the process of creation, the process of creating a child, literally, its progeny, the 5th house represents, but it can, for you, just represent creating a new project, creating or publishing a new creative project if you're in a creative industry, if you're into music, or writing, creative writing, blogging, or something like that. You can find this to be a favorable time to publish something within that. And 5th house also deals with popularity. So you might gain some popularity with this aspect, gain some attention or recognition on social media specifically. You can go viral online from something you post on Instagram, TikTok, any platform really. You have this opportunity or strong favorability to go viral with your content with the Sun Uranus aspect in your 5th house. And another part of the 5th house, and the powerful part of Uranus aspecting the 5th house, is that it brings to you this sense of divine inspiration, divine knowledge, channeling something really authentic, really unique to you, and really bringing into your consciousness and awareness some sort of creative project or idea that is very inventive, innovative. This is the energy of like genius, or like genius energy, having Uranus aspect the Sun in your 5th house. So with that genius energy, you can manifest or create some sort of genius idea, genius product, genius, anything that can make you a lot of money in the future, invention. All you need is one good invention, right, to be a millionaire or billionaire. So this is the aspect for you with Uranus, Sun in your 5th house. And that brings us to the last event, which is the Scorpio full moon. Now this full moon happens on the 26th. It happens in your 11th house, Capricorn. And this full moon is very intense. It's very powerful, it's very ominous, it's mysterious, it's very pessimistic even, and not only because it's in Scorpio, of course, but it's also squaring Pluto. So it has like that double scorpionic plutonic influence where we do feel kind of like that turbulent energy that Scorpio brings, that Pluto brings, that chaotic energy, that destructive energy that Pluto and Scorpio both bring, and ultimately it does represent extremes as well. So we kind of feel that turbulence in the collective at large, but also in your chart you're feeling it in terms of like your friend groups. Maybe you're feeling it on social media. And the bright side about this Scorpionic energy is that it really does purge things out of our life. So if you have anything in your life, especially when it pertains to friends or maybe even social media, you have this urge to want to purge anything toxic out of your life pertaining to that arena of the 11th house. But on the other hand, again, this theme of popularity is very strong with 11th house and 5th house axis. So you might, again, gain popularity for something during this full moon. It can lean a little bit more negative. And what I've been talking about with the other zodiac signs is that Scorpio, Pluto energy does rule scandals. So you can potentially have a scandal online or on social media, or have someone kind of post a rumor about you or something like that. Which I don't want to definitely predict for all Capricorns, but it is possible with Scorpio energy that does manifest oftentimes as slander or humiliation or scandals. So that is possible with this Scorpio full moon in your 11th house, but it can take on a more positive theme where you kind of purge out negative aspects pertaining to social media. Maybe you delete some social media or kind of refresh your feed or something like that on Instagram. And you could even gain with this full moon. So 11th house is a fortunate house where we do see a lot of gains in our life when we have 11th house energy activated and 11th house transits activated. So you might see that you gain something through influential person. Maybe you just have a lump sum financial gain that maybe you invested in something earlier and you just gain from it with this full moon around that time frame. And this can also represent transmutation as well, and kind of turning something negative into positive, since the 11th house is so positive and Scorpio tends to be negative. And if we can characterize your month in one sentence, Capricorn, it really has a lot to do with cultivating the sense of security, home, and family, focusing on that, and developing your own individuality while purging out things that no longer serve you in terms of friendships, friend groups, and desires. And so with that being said, don't forget to head to kjewelryxo.com to check out that new launch. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel, and thank you for liking this video, and I'll see you Capricorns in my next video.